Instacode is locksmithing software, and its primary purpose is when you have a key and you decode the cuts, it will tell you that that's a valid code number. Or conversely, if you have a code number, perhaps from NASDAQ or a dealer or from the lock itself, Instacode will take that code number and convert it into cuts so that you can then produce the key. Primarily, our software is aimed at key production. So we try to give you those two basic functions, but we also give you a whole lot of other functions to do with producing a key. With the advent of transponder technology, we've added a whole lot of transponder technology information in there. Tell you what chip type it is. There are a few pin code calculators, sort of things like that. We also give you some ability to decode the key. Instacode Live can be run on your phone, so we allow you to take a photo of the key, and then Instacode will help you decode it with the photo. We're going to look at a bunch of these things as we go, but the main thing that I wanted to get across, and I'm watching the participants disappear as soon as I say this, Instacode will not give you a code number from a VIN number. That's not a service we offer. We never will offer that service. It's not a thing that we do. So if that's what we get probably 4 or 5 requests a day for people that think that that's what our software does. That is not what our software does. We're a locksmithing software aimed at helping locksmiths produce keys to cut. And we are very good at it. So, you know, because we're not shy down in New Zealand. So, all right. So let's have a look at Instacode Live versus traditional Instacode. Instacode has been around for about 25 years now, but Instacode Live has only been around for probably the last 3 or 4 of those years. Instacode Live's primary difference is that it can be run on a mobile device. We support Android and Apple, but Apple is, I apologize, America, Apple is way behind Android when it comes to features and things like that. So some of the features that we can do on Android, we can't do on Apple yet. We do have a specific developer for Apple. So as Apple kind of catches up with their features, you know, the goal is to make the 2 apps work exactly the same. But if you're a locksmith, you really probably ought to get an Android device. You can run all sorts of stuff on that thing. So, yeah, so the primary difference between IC Live and Instacode Traditional is that it can be run on a mobile device. If you want your Instacode to run on a mobile device, you have to get Instacode Live. There's no 2 ways about it. You can write us a nice letter, we'll appreciate it, but it's not going to change. Instacode Live is the only thing that will run on a mobile device. That's the primary difference. There is a secondary difference. With traditional Instacode, we always used to get a lot of complaints from people because perhaps they were an automotive locksmith and they didn't like paying for file cabinet keys. Or the other way around, maybe they didn't do automotive and they were upset about the fact that they were paying for all this automotive stuff. And with Instacode Live, we also took the opportunity to break the entire program up into smaller sections. So now it's a la carte. If you're an automotive locksmith, you can just choose to just buy automotive codes. And for that matter, if you don't want the transponder information, which I personally work really hard to put in there for you, but if you say you know more than me, then that's cool. You don't have to pay for the transponder information, but you can still get all of the other stuff. So I want to really, that sounds like a sales pitch and like I'm kissing up, but I'm really not. I want to big up the IKS website. If you want to know more about how you can buy the modules for Instacode, what each module does, for example, and how they're broken up, the IKS website gives you a really long form description of exactly what's contained in each of those modules. So I'd encourage you to go and have a look over there and see what you like. Okay, so those are the 2 main differences between Instacode Live and traditional Instacode. Traditional Instacode, you can generally install it on a couple of machines. And run them simultaneously. It runs offline. It is often slightly cheaper, but it is less flexible and it's less portable. And you know, if you're a man in a van or something like that, Instacode Live is more what you'd like. There's a couple of other things to do with Instacode Live that I know you're going to ask, and I'll just let you ask them in the questions, and we can okay. All right, let's have a look at actual Instacode, hey? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen right now, and we'll jump onto my Instacode, my actual Instacode. You guys should see that now. This is Instacode Live that you're looking at, but I'm running it on the PC. So you guys that are familiar with our product, you'll see that Instacode Live and Instacode Traditional, when you're running it on a PC, there's no difference. It looks exactly the same, okay? So this is basically the main screen that it greets you with. It's your main search features, excuse me. On the phone, we would call this advanced search. We'll look at the phone in a second. But you can see all the different things that Instacode allows you to search by. We could type in a code number here and just search for every single key in existence that has a code number that matches that one that I've just typed. We've got a list here of all the different lock manufacturers, and we have a lot. We have many, many, many. You can even put your own custom ones in there. If you have one that we don't have, you can stick that in yourself. Again, we'll come to that a little bit later. If you choose a vehicle, let's not do Abarth, let's do something like Chrysler or whatever. Let's do Chevrolet. If you do a vehicle, then we have a list of all the different models underneath it. And if you do choose a model, you may find that there are some submodels as well. I'm trying to think of one that will have them. Here's a Camaro, and you can see we've broken that down into submodels. I want to stress this, guys. This is optional, okay? A lot of people don't know what the submodel is. No problem. Just leave it off. Just know that this has only come about because of transponder information. And with transponder information, the submodel becomes very, very specific. We even have VIN number specific submodels sometimes because when you are in the USA, it might use one chip, but when you're in Mexico, it uses a different chip. So the submodels become very important for information accuracy. If you know the submodel, put it in. If you don't know the submodel, for heaven's sake, don't put it in. You'll get wrong information. Just leave it blank and then see if you can figure it out from the next. Down here, you've got make, model, year, the year, I should say. Let's see if I can do it with this one. Probably going to be a bad random example I've chosen here. All right. Can you see, this is something that most people don't know, okay? We're 5 minutes in. I want to give you something that most people don't know. Most people think that you have to choose one of these these year ranges, and they get frustrated with us because sometimes the year ranges cross over. So we might say, for example, if I do it this way, let's just go. So if I do my favorite, the old Toyota Camry, if I go for, let's say, a 2010 Toyota Camry, you can see that it would fit into this category, or it would fit into this category. And people get really frustrated with us and they say, why can't you just put the 1 year? The reason for that is because this software is global. We cover cars from every single market in the world. And a 2010 Camry in the USA might be completely different to a 2010 Camry in the UK. Very different cars. What a lot of people don't realize is that you can actually just type in 2010 and just leave it like that. And then what will happen is on the next screen, it'll show you all the versions that were in this first group. You can see there, 2006 to 2011. And it will also include the ones that are from 2006. You see what I'm saying? So it's a cool little trick. A lot of people don't realize you can do that. You can only do that on the PC. You can't do that on the phone because of stuff. I don't know. That's a programming question. Ask me in the chat and I'll email our developers and we'll get back to you as to why you can't do that. But on the PC, you can definitely just type in the year you want and then leave it like that. That's great. Okay, so that's the automotive stuff or any old general stuff. Down here, you can search by key blank. Instacode, because we are independent, we're not affiliated with any actual key blank manufacturer. We actually have more key blank support than any other product. I think we might be the only ones that have IKS's proprietary brand. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it should be.
I
So
think
you
it's
can
true.
have, it is? Nice. So you can have whatever key blank manufacturer you like to look at. We also support multiple different space and depth cards. Down here, you've got different locking systems. This is seldom used, this feature. It's mostly used by our European friends. A lot of these products that you can see in this list, they are very specific to certain dealers. And so they'll bring up special codes. A lot of those particular code series are actually locked and you won't be able to see them unless you get special permission, but that's fine. Right. You would think because we're getting down to the bottom that we are getting to the less important stuff. But I want to remind you, America and everybody else in the Northern Hemisphere, that New Zealand is down the bottom. So we are the most important country, obviously, and it's the same with the search window. Once you get down to the bottom, the things become more important, but very much like New Zealand, they get overlooked. So these three sections here, lock type, you can see what that does, lock type, key type, and the cuts. These three sections will probably return the best results. If you're trying to find, let's say you had a code number for a file cabinet and the code number was 123. If you simply type in 123 in the code, you're going to get probably about 500 results. And it's basically unusable. If you were to go down and go lock type, general, key type, single-sided, okay, and then cuts, only 3 cuts. You know, you're going to narrow that 500 list down to a very short number. It's a much more usable number. So these 3 search fields are very much overlooked. Nobody ever uses them, but they are actually the best way to narrow the search results down to just the ones that you're looking for. Okay. The last thing down the bottom, ISN, it's the Instacode serial number. With the exception of Paul Caneen, who is probably hovering in the background somewhere in Ireland, with the exception of Paul Caneen, I believe that I am Instacode's biggest fan in the world, and I do not know all of the Instacode serial numbers for the code number for the code series. So you can feel free to ignore that one if you want. But that's more of a reference for us so that we can narrow down each code series. All right. I wanted to spend a little time on this advanced feature because we are going to kind of, I don't know if we're going to have time to come back and hit it in a heavy way later. So I just wanted to cover that now. This is the main window that you're going to use in the PC, but I just want to point out, we won't spend a lot of time on these ones, but I just want to point out that you do also have a way of searching a key blank. This actually comes in handy a lot for us down in New Zealand when we're dealing with your US blanks. For some reason, we get a lot of American blanks from Dayton, Ohio. Shout out Ohio, I guess. Dayton, Ohio seems to produce a lot of different key blanks, and they make their way down here, and we have no idea what they are. So I can set the manufacturer down here, and I can type in the key blank number, and that will take me straight to straight back to the code series that, or the space and depth card that number applies to. There is another little trick that you can do on the screen that nobody knows, and I'm all about telling you stuff that people don't know. Forgive me, America. I'm just going to use Silka because it's the one that I know. If I go, let's say HU100, and then do a search on that, I'm gonna come up with every key blank that's made by HU100. In this case, it's put the transponder information in there as well, and it's giving me a cross-reference for every other manufacturer that makes this exact key blank. Now, in this case, because it's a Silka one, and because I've put the there is no HU100 by Silka, there's only an A and a T12. We're not going to have any other key manufacturer that has that specific a key blank. That's okay. I just wanted to show you this. If you right-click this, you're going to get this secret hidden little menu, and it'll show you every vehicle that uses that key. In this case, only one of them. So that's a pretty bad example, wasn't it? That's all right. We can make it more exciting next time. But that's a cool little feature. A lot of people don't realize is there. If I do something a little bit more conventional for you, you can see that if I type in a Silka Toy 43, if I'm talking to somebody in Japan, I can communicate effectively and say, oh, it's an M382, and then they'll know what I'm talking about, okay? And again, we can see a list of all of the vehicles that use that particular key. That is a lot of them. Cool, cool, cool. All right, the last one we have is this one here, identify key. With this one, basically, it's the most common time you'll use this is somebody comes in with a key blank. You can tell that it's an aftermarket key blank, and you can tell that it's got a key blank reference, but it doesn't have a manufacturer on the front of it. In this case, you could just type that in, I don't know, H75, see what that does. And it's going to find every manufacturer that makes a key blank with that reference, okay? It's not something that's used a lot, but hey, it's there. I don't think anybody else does it, so there you go. I think that's kind of all. We are going to come back to this. We'll come back to this one a little bit later on, but I think that's kind of all I want to do at the moment in terms of those search fields. I will just take you into one of the screens. So let's look at a car. Here's a sneaky little button that's been there forever that nobody knows what it does. If you click on this and I type in, I don't know, wish, whoops, daisy, I type it in here, wish, okay, it doesn't want to type. Why doesn't that want to type? Let's try that again. All right, something funny's going on with my screen here. Okay, I can type in there. All right, never mind then. I'll just, I'll work that one out and I'll come back to you later. So let's type in Toyota. Well, we won't go wish. Let's not be clever about it. Let's go Forerunner because it's at the front, and we'll just do a search there. That's fine. I'm just going to pick any one of these code series. You can see that it's breaking me down. If this were a real job, I would know exactly what make, model, year I was dealing with, but let's just arbitrarily choose one. This is our main screen that you can see, which is where you're going to get your information about how to cut this key. So you've got your nice space and depth picture over here with a whole lot of dimensions. Over on the side, I can't see it because you guys are covering my screen, but over on the side, you should be looking at key blank references. And then as you zoom along, you've got a bunch of different tabs along the top, and they tell you different things, okay? I don't want to get into these tabs right now because we're going to come back to visit these. But the one thing I will do is I will just draw your attention to this one up here. So that was up here. It says new code. If I type in a new code, yeah, this is not letting me type. Why is it not letting me type? Travis, do you know?
It could be, I don't know, it could have something to do with your screen share.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to definitely be something to do with
it might have something to do with a pop-up window while you're doing the screen share.
Well, that's going to be annoying, gentlemen. But we'll figure that out. All right, let's just circle back to that one because we'll yeah, I don't know, we'll figure that one out as we go.
One difference is, I mean, there is a difference between sharing an application window and sharing an actual screen. I don't know if that would change anything.
Is there? Can I do that at my end?
Yeah, I mean, would you just go back to screen share and I don't know which one you're on now, whether you're on a screen share or on an application window.
I am on a screen share at the moment.
I don't know. I really don't know what it's going to, if it would fix it or not. But.
Yeah, so Jeremy, you click the share screen button at the bottom and then possibly try, instead of selecting your entire monitor, possibly try selecting just the application.
Okay, I will do that. So I'm going to do there, portion of the screen. Portion of the screen or the...
No, it should give you like a list of windows that are open.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. That's how I did it initially.
Oh really?
Yeah. This is really unprofessional, guys. All right, never mind. Let's just circle back. We'll circle back to this one, eh? Let's move on to the next bit. Because because when we do the phone, it'll be interesting to see if it works on the phone. Yeah. If we were any kind of professionals, we would have figured this out in advance. Sorry, everybody in the world that's watching this. Okay, while we're over here, I'll just take the opportunity to show you one more thing. It's this bit here. How can I? So one thing that we can do is once you get your, there we go. Oh, hang on, I got an idea. All right, can you guys see my screen now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. And what about if I do this?
Hey. Hey.
Freaking genius, mate. New Zealand to the rescue again. Okay, cool. So we've typed in, sorry everybody, you can tune back in again if you'd gone to get yourself a drink or whatever. So what we've done is we've just typed in our code number. You can see Instacode has brought up the cuts that correspond with that number. If I want to see a picture of the key, I can. That is a very boring picture, but you know, it makes customers feel good sometimes. If I want to go find bitting, I can type in cuts that I know of and then do a search and it will show me all of the results. Here's a fun thing that I learned is that partial bittings is not a thing that everybody does. I didn't realize that. Yeah, we definitely do partial bittings. We get asked that all the time. You can see here, I've only, or you guys call it a fill sometimes. I've only typed in half my cuts and Instacode's showing me every result that has different variants in the last positions. This one over here is what we call a match one up also. With this one, if I know that this is a high cut, but I can't tell if it's a 1 or a 2, then what I could do is I could type in 1, whatever the lowest number is, and tick this box. And now Instacode will show me every result that has a 1 or a 2 in that position. Okay, so that's a really useful one when you are Lishi picking. I love Instacode Live for Lishi picking. So when I'm Lishi picking, as I'm picking it, I'll decode it as I go, and I'll put in, if there's one that I know for sure, then that's fine. But if there's one that I'm not 100%, I'm just going to say, look, I don't know what it is, it's a 1 or a 2. Just show me results as a 1 or a 2. So that's match one up also, very cool feature. All right, once we've got that, in terms of sending it to the key machine, you're then just gonna go cut key. Now, because I'm on a training laptop, you can see down the bottom, I have no actual machines configured for this, this computer. So when I go cut key, it's just gonna fail. I do not wanna add a machine. Okay, sure I do. We support a whole bunch of different key machines. You can see the list there. Our goal is to support all the key machines. So if you have a machine that you really want us to support, contact the people who make that machine and have them contact us, and we'll work together and we'll see if we can come to some arrangement, put it in there. That's the idea though. Okay. Cool. So we would add the key machines, and normally we would send it over there. And I know JB, you did a good example of that in your A9 presentation. So you guys can go and check that out and see him sending it to the A9. I'm going to do something similar now. I'm going to send the cut key to my personal A9, and I'm just going to show you on a video that I recorded earlier. Okay. So let's see if this works. Can you guys see this video? Yeah, you can see?
Yes.
So this is me sending a key to my actual A9 via Bluetooth on the app. So you can see the first thing I'm doing is I'm just looking up Chevrolet there. I don't know why it's playing that music, but it's lovely. Something I composed, I think, actually. All right, so we're looking up this Chevrolet code. Instacode's going to search. It's going to find the code series that belongs to. I'm going to go ahead and open that. This is a little bit of double handle here. Just going to show you what that screen looks like. You can see that on the app, it looks very similar to how it looks on the PC. And then this is the money shot right here. So we communicate via Bluetooth to a few machines. One of them is the Miracle. The app will automatically find the key machine. It's just found it now. I'm going to go cut key. and it's going to send the data over to the key machine. And it's as simple as that. Beautiful. Thank you for that, whoever wrote that little video. We can stop the share now. There we go, you're back. Yeah, so that's sharing by Bluetooth from the phone to the key machine. So it's really cool. We can do it that way to the entire range of the Miracle machines. And we can do it to the, what's that little one called? The Condor. We can do it to the Condor. And I'm not sure if it supports like the Dolphin and some of the other ones. They haven't sent us those ones for testing. But I don't know if they've got the same module. Do you guys know? Sean, do you know of?
JB might know. I also wanted to ask, does the Bluetooth work on Android and Apple, or is it just Android?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Sorry, but Apple uses a different version of Bluetooth. So if the key machine, so the problem is the key machine, not the phone. If the key machine has the Bluetooth module that talks to Apple, then yes, the Apple module will talk to that Bluetooth, and you'll be able to drive that key machine from there. Android, because Android's awesome, Android can talk to both Bluetooth modules. So it doesn't matter what Bluetooth module the key machine has. If you've got an Android phone, you'll be able to talk to it. With Apple, it depends on the key machine. Perhaps that's something you could talk to Pete about, because the Miracle at the moment, my understanding is the Miracles all, including the new one, they're all using the classic Bluetooth module, which Apple can't talk to. So yeah, sorry about it. That's not our issue. Sorry, guys. We move as fast as we can with Apple, but if you're a developer, you'll back me up on this. Apple is just terrible to work with when it comes to trying to push out new features and things like that. So yeah. All right. So that's about all I want to show you on that PC. Just that first little bit. What I want to do now is jump across to the phone, if I can, and I'm going to do that down here. Boom! Did I come up? Look at that.
Perfect.
At my phone. All right, you guys can all see my phone, yeah? Heads up. Yep.
Yes.
Cool. Yes. All right. So this is the phone app, and what I'm going to do now, I teased a big reveal on Facebook last night my time. I don't know, it's probably in the morning your time or something. I teased a big reveal for a new feature that we put into Instacode. We're going to look at that feature now, okay? This is the phone app. You can see the initial layout. The initial screen layout is a little different. We've just got these major icons. I'm just going to go to the advanced search. This is the screen that you saw on the PC. Can you see that all of those same things are there? Okay. So if you want to do it that way, then yes, you can do it on the phone. I strongly encourage you not to do this. Okay. It's pretty unwieldy if you do it this way on the phone. You're better off doing this on the laptop if you want to do it on something. But over here we've got key codes. We could just type in the code number. You don't have to put a manufacturer in there, but you can if you like. And then there's the one that most people use, which is the vehicle. Okay. The app is very useful for automotive locksmiths. So most of the stuff on the app, we do sort of skew towards those guys. Before we jump into the actual vehicle part, I'll just quickly run over these ones along the bottom. Settings is just telling you what measurements you want to use, what card numberings, all that sort of a thing. You can have it default to showing half depths if you want to. Okay, I quite often have that turned off because I find it takes up too much screen size, but I'm going to leave it on just so you can see how it works. Clients, we have the ability to save people that you work for, jobs that you do. You could record every individual car that you make keys for. That would be fine, and then you could quickly jump back to that screen. I get a lot of people in the States complain that we can't screen out all of the code series that don't apply to you guys in the States. A little bit racist, but that's okay. If you wanted to do that, America, if you really don't want to see other things, or you get sick of always looking for Chrysler, you can save Chrysler as a client. So you can see here, I've saved my code series that I go to all the time. I've saved them as a client, and now I can just jump there and it'll take me straight to that code series. Okay, it's a workaround. That's not the way the client module is supposed to work. But a lot of people, myself included, a lot of people do that. They use it as a favorites setting. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you there is the pin code calculators. Now listen, if you're an automotive person, I don't want you to get excited about our pin code calculators. Okay, we don't purchase the algorithms from anybody. We don't get given them by Nissan or anything like that. We crack those independently. You're looking at the person who cracks them. It's a very long, slow process. But don't complain that we don't have lots of them. We don't have lots of them. If you look at the top here, these are the pin code calculators that we have. The Volkswagen 7-to-4 converter is only really used in Africa now. So if you don't live in Africa, then you can ignore that one. Honda code is for the Americans, but I believe that's only for the old ones. The Nissan and the Hyundai ones are still relevant for today. The Hyundai Kia code is going to be your VIN number to your 6-digit PIN number. So that's your Smartra Type 46 systems. It's only going to be valid up to 2007. After 2007, they changed the algorithm, and we don't have the new algorithm. Nobody does. You can, if you need a PIN code done that way, you can purchase it from a code broker, or you can get a piece of software where they've just downloaded the entire database in there, and hopefully your VIN number is listed, and you can get the PIN code that way. Okay, but we don't have that algorithm cracked yet. Down there we have the Mazda Lucas system. That's an 8-digit PIN number, and then right at the very bottom we have the Suzuki 20-digit to 8-digit or 4-digit PIN number. That's going to be used on your newer Suzukis. I'm going to say 2010 to about 2013, 2014. And then just to be confusing, they changed the algorithm, and it still is a 20-digit number to an 8 or a 4-digit. So we don't have the new algorithm. There are a couple of scan tools that will extract that directly from the engine ECU. But yeah, we do have that Suzuki one. So that's all we have. We do work on them periodically, but there are better programs for getting PIN numbers. Okay, I get really worried that people buy our software for the PIN code calculators. Don't get excited about that. Sorry, Sean. I'm not a salesman. Sorry, guys. All right, let's have a look at this.
I'm so excited.
Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this new feature I'm talking about. Because I'm on an Android phone, like I said, I really like using the app when I'm Lishi picking. So I'll have this sitting on my thigh as I'm sitting down and I'm picking the lock. With the microphone, I can hit the microphone and I can just talk to Instacode and tell it to open up the specific car that I want. In this case, I can't because I've turned my microphone off. So I'm just going to look it up. So we're going to do a Camry. And, oh, sorry, I skipped that really quickly. I just want to do that again. A lot of people don't realize you can do that. Okay, so I've gone Toyota, and then I've scrolled down to Camry. Now, when I'm on the phone, as soon as I select Camry, it wants to prompt me to do a submodel. A lot of the time, this list, especially in Toyota, this list can look very confusing, and it can intimidate you. Don't panic. Just hit all at the top. Okay, and Instacode will just ignore the submodel. That'll be fine. If you don't know the submodel, don't get put off. Okay, in this case, 2012 Camry that I want to do. I'm going to do that one, and we'll look it up, and we can see all of the different code series that correspond to a 2012 Camry. And if I look at this list, I can see that the only difference between them is the submodel. And you and I both know that that's not going to make any difference at all. JB, you're looking a little bit bored there, so I know you want to see something new. I'm going to show you something new. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right index finger and just hold it over the code series. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me all of the key blanks that operate that code series. So if you've got in this case, it's kind of boring because we know what they are. But if you're concerned that some of these series might use a different key blank, maybe it's a left and a right situation, then you can just hold your finger on there and just do a little shortcut. Did you know that, JB?
I did not know that one. You've taught me 3 things today that I didn't know, so that's great.
We aim to please. We aim to please. Stick around for the Rugby World Cup. We'll teach you another thing. All right. Now, when you open up the system, what I've done on my phone is I've got it configured to automatically display any notes that we've put on there. So over here, you can see some of the rules that correspond to this code series. This is my information that I put into Instacode for your benefit. I don't put all of my tricks in here, okay? I've always got to stay one step ahead of JB. So I hold a little something back. But you can see this is the Toyota 10-cut system, and you can see that I've got a bunch of different code series rules there. And you can read those at your leisure if you want to. All right, if you come up here to the drop-down list, and then you come down to lock, scroll please. If you come down to lock decoding, this is the new feature that I've alluded to, okay? So if you click on lock decoding, what's gonna happen is it's gonna bring up a Lishi page. Lishi has revolutionized the key production industry. For a few years, Instacode had a little bit of a Lishi information in there. It very quickly became apparent to us that it was too hard to actually cover all of the vehicles in the world, but now we've decided to have a crack. So we've now put all of the tools. I scroll up here, all of the tools for original Lishi or genuine Lishi. If you click on the tool, it'll show you a nice little picture of it. That won't fit on your phone. There you go. It'll show you a nice little picture of the tool. And then down here, we've got what direction that lock needs to turn. Please pay attention to the disclaimer part that I put at the top. In most cases, this direction is going to refer to the driver's door lock only, okay? Some vehicles don't have a driver's door lock, in which case it'll refer to the passenger's door lock or whatever other lock that car has. But that's the direction there. And then down the bottom, you've got the decoding direction. So that's when you have completed the pick and the lock is open, do you decode it in the same direction that you picked, or do you decode it in the opposite direction? Also in that section, I'm going to put information that pertains to the code series that you've selected. So at the moment, we selected the 443 series that has a number 4 as a deep cut. All right. If I select the original manufacturer, all right, the Toyota series, where a number 1 is the deep cut, you'll see that when I go into the lock decoding screen, I've actually changed it. There we go, lock decoding. We scroll all the way down. Decoding direction, I'll put there an extra note. Markings on the Lishi decoder may not match the descriptions used by Instacode. The Lishi tool in that case has a number 4 as a deep cut. The Instacode card has a number 4 as a high cut, okay? We have lots of series that's relevant to, mostly Toyota and Hyundai. Honda, we have the A and B sides, those sorts of things as well, okay? That's the major new feature that I wanted to leak to you guys today. It is a work in progress. I've got probably 90% of the tools loaded now, but there will still be a few code series that I haven't picked up. You European guys, Peugeot, Citroen, I haven't put any tools against Peugeot, Citroen yet, but most of the other manufacturers, you should have tools against them, and you'll see that coming in future times. This new feature, lock decoding, is going to be part of the openings module. So if you're on Instacode Live and you've got the Works package, you're just going to get this for free. If you don't have the openings module, you'll have to purchase that separately and add that to your subscription. Excuse me, and then you'll get this this feature. If you guys are on traditional Instacode, where you're running it on a PC, you guys will get this feature. You'll just get it later. It'll be in the mid-year update, which is actually not that far away. It'll be in June or July, I think, in June. So yeah, then you guys will get this feature as well. Okay, all good? Cool.
Hey, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Is there potentially a misprint there? It says clockwise and counterclockwise. Should it not say anti-clockwise?
I love that you said that, JB. Yeah, we actually did quite a lot of research on this, and we decided what we found was that in America, you guys call it counterclockwise. So it's your fault. We call it anti-clockwise. Am I wrong? Do you guys call that anti-clockwise?
No, we call it counterclockwise, but I knew you called it anti-clockwise. So.
Yeah, because you guys are. This is what we do for you, America. We change everything to cater to you guys. Now listen, Sean, JB, I'm looking at the time here. I know we said this was going to be an hour. Do you want to? This was the major feature that we wanted to sort of show. What do you want me to do now? Do you want me to go to Q&A, or we can do some more stuff? What do you want to do?
I'd say we just keep going if you have more stuff to show. Let's show it. If people want to drop off, they can.
Feel free to drop off, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to all of the sexy stuff. Okay, so I know what you want. You don't want to hear how to look up a key blank. I'm going to show you the sexy stuff, and I want to just show you. I think since we're in the app, why don't we do a snap decoder? Okay, we'll do a photo of a key, and we'll get Instacode to help us decode it. Okay, so
Jeremy, while you're prepping that, would you mind to answer a question? I think I maybe muddied the water a little bit here. We have one of the attendees is asking about the master keying software, and so that is included with the works, correct?
That is correct. I believe you get it also if you buy general codes, and you buy the full general, like I think it's called all codes or something, whatever the highest level of general codes is. I think you get the master keying software in that as well. Yeah, but yes, you definitely get it if it's in the works, and yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And that's not to be confused with the other master keying software, right?
Definitely not. Definitely not. The master keying suite, if you are in the USA, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've used Instacode. If you're outside of the USA, if you're tuning in from Australia, if you've figured out how to use a computer and got the internet, if you're tuning in from anywhere outside the US, you may not even realize that Instacode has a master keying suite in there. That's because it's not a particularly powerful one. WH Software makes the best master keying software in the world, ProMaster, which is the Rolls Royce of master keying softwares. So we have put a nominal one. It's very similar to HPC Master Keying. It's that kind of level. And that gets included with Instacode if you're in the US market, and I think now outside of the US market you might get it as well. ProMaster, by the way, for those of you who are aware of ProMaster, if you've been turned off by the cost in previous years, maybe take another look at ProMaster 8. Just got released last year, and there's a new cut price version of it. So you can now, it's got some restrictions on the profiles you can use. Other than that, it's a full noise ProMaster for a fraction of the previous price. And we've also got some app development happening with that. Very breaking news as well. So there's a ProMaster app that you can get on your phone, which gives you some extra functionality for that as well. But yeah, that's cool. Let's go to the snap decoder. But what I'm going to do is I've got a very worn key here, which you're going to see in a second, and I'm going to decode this. Okay. Now I could try and decode it with my brain, but it would be nice to get some assistance for that. I'm talking to you, Australia. So up in this top corner, you can see there's a little picture of a magnifying glass. I'm going to hit that. And I can choose to take the image from something that the customer's emailed me or texted me, or I can just do it with my camera. So I'm going to do it with my camera. And I'll flip it around so it's Instacode language. this is my key right here. I'm going to take a photo of it. Now, I'm deliberately not taking a lot of care to get great lighting or great angles. You can see there's some nasty shadows there. I'm doing that on purpose because I want you to see how the app works. So I'm going to click OK at that point. I'm now going to drag around the key and try and give yourself a little bit of room on all sides. That's fine. We'll go crop it, and then there's my key. Okay, now just going to rotate this key around. I'm going to actually stop looking at the computer and do it on my phone now. Oh, hang on, let's rotate it around. That's better. Now, the longer you take on this bit, the more accurate the computer will be. But I've sort of got it offends me that a computer thinks that it can decode a key better than I can. So I've got a kind of a vested interest in forcing Instacode to get this one wrong. So I'm deliberately kind of being a little bit rushed on this bit. So you can see I've lined up the orientation. We'll go to the next screen. Instacode tries to guess where the top of the key is and it gets it wrong. All right, there we go. So I've adjusted that. And then you can see there's a little blue line at the end for where the tip is. Now, because this is a worn key, you may want to move that line to where you, as a human, where you think the tip should have been. And this is what I like about the app. You, as the human, you get to override certain parts of it to make it work better. All right, we'll go next. Now, what Instacode's done here is it's trying to predict, based on the space and depth information, which it knows, is trying to guess what those cuts are, okay? And it's going to get it kind of wrong because of, see all those shadows at the bottom of the key? All those shadows at the bottom of the key have made it pretty bad. But along the top, it hasn't actually done a too bad a job. It's really important to remember that at this point, I can still adjust things. So I can still move all of these cuts across a little bit, or, you know, whatever. But my point is that at this point, my human brain can take over and I can actually override some of the options that Instacode's done. Now, in the last cut, it thinks that we've got a 2. Oh, because this is the reverse series where a 1 is a deep cut. So it thinks I've got a 2-1, which I'm actually okay with. But over here, let's look at this one. Can you see that little purple leg moving up? So I can literally dial up these cuts and move that little purple leg until it sits approximately where I think it should be. Okay? I can't hear you clapping, but I know that in your individual rooms, you're all clapping wildly at this point. Okay, there's another little error I can see. Where is it? Somewhere over here. That one. Oops. All right, and then this first one is clearly needs to be deeper and there. And I think if you'll agree with me, if you look at that top line, I think you'll agree that that's pretty good. So I'm going to go next. We've decoded that. Send it to Instacode. We've sent it to Instacode. Let's have a look and see how we did. Way, look at that. Hold for applause. Okay, stop. That's enough. All right, so then we've found our key, and that's Snap Decoder. Now, if you have the Instacode app and you're on an Android phone, you'll have Snap Decoder available on every key, pretty much every key. There are a couple like dimple keys we can't do, but like track keys, edge cut keys, automotive, residential, doesn't matter. You'll have that available in the fine bitting window, okay? If you do not have if you have an Apple device, Apple does not have the technology that we're utilizing to edge detect, so we can't do it with Apple. Sorry, not going to happen. Again, get an Android phone. I should be selling Android phones. If you are on the PC, again, you can't do it because we're utilizing the phone's camera and everything like that. If you do not own Instacode, but you really love Snap Decoder and you're just too tight to buy Instacode, you can actually download Snap Decoder from the App Store. It's free. You'll get probably about 20 or 30 different code series that you can do. A lot of them are the really common ones. Toyota's in there, Chrysler's in there, and you can get that for free. So you can do it that way if you want. Okay, good. Any questions about that? Nope, can't see them, so that's all good. I don't know why I asked any questions. All right, have we got time for one more, do you think? Yeah?
I'd
All right.
say yes.
Yeah, let's do one more, because this is the one that I really want to get to. I don't get to teach this one very often. Hang on, sorry, I'm just going to jump off my screen again. There we go. All right, we're back to me. Let's go to the camera. So I don't get to do this one very often, but I see you guys posting on Facebook all the time where you have a picture of a lock that you've never seen before, and you're all like, "What does anybody know what key works this lock?" Oh my God, it frustrates me. The other thing you do is you post up a key blank and you say, "What key blank do I use?" It's really annoying, guys. You've got to do better. All right, so what we're going to do is we've got a lock here. I've tried very hard to find a lock that you will have never seen before. I don't know if I've succeeded or not. If you're an old guy, you might recognize this old thing. Yeah, this is an automotive guy. I've never seen this little file cabinet lock before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a leaf out of JB's book, and I'm going to jump over to another camera that I have set up here. Yeah. All right, you guys are seeing that. Let's go, boom. All right, what you're seeing now is a close-up of that lock cylinder. And we are going to have a look down the inside, and I want you guys to draw a picture of what that profile looks like, okay? I know you guys are all doing this at home. I'm just going to do this reasonably quickly, but you guys will hopefully follow along. And if you like this, we can do a proper class on this one day. Okay, so the first thing I'm looking for is the shoulder stop. So you can see there's a rather large shoulder stop on this side, and there's a slightly smaller one down on this bottom section. Okay, and then over here we've got I'm going to call it a side ward. You see that one just over along here? And then we've got two actual wards along the top. Now, this is where my cool drawing skills are going to let me down, because they're not square, okay, but I'm going to draw them as if they were square. They're actually, if you can see that one's slightly larger. You can see that big one is the easiest one to see. This one over here, you can actually see it's on an angle. So the groove that key blank is going to have, it's going to be a symmetrical groove, okay? It's scallop shape, just because of that angle. Now, the more you do this, this is locksmithing, guys. The more you do this, the better you'll get at actually learning what shapes equal what shapes in the key blank. But what we have over here is we have a very rough idea of what our key blank looks like. If we look at it on the end, that's what our key blank looks like, okay? So we've got some information to start from. All right, cool. Let's memorize that. Now, we're going to fire up our Instacode here. Let's go back to the main screen. And I'm going to show you a button that nobody has ever seen. Are you ready, JB? This is going to be exciting. This is probably the most exciting thing you're going to see. It's this little button over here. It's been sitting there for decades and nobody's ever pushed it, but we're going to push it right now. So we don't know who the manufacturer is for this lock. If we did, then we would be putting it in, but we don't. We do know that it's a single-sided key, okay? How do we know that? You jump back to that screen. You can see that the keyhole is not symmetrical. You see that? It's asymmetrical. It means the key only goes in one way. There's also a big old flat at the top of your screen, the 12 o'clock position, the big old flat, and then you can see all of the wafers come from the bottom of the screen at the 6 o'clock position. This is a single-sided key. We can figure that out. Alignment, shoulder or tip. We know that it aligns to the shoulder because we can see the shoulders in the keyway, okay? We drew that. So we know it's a shoulder stop. What we need to do now is we need to measure the distance from the front of the lock to the first wafer. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to see if I can, let me just stop the sharing at this point so you guys get me nice and big. What I've got here is a micrometer. And a lot of people don't realize at the back of the micrometer, there's a cool little bar that drops down, okay? So I'm going to take my lock and I'm going to measure. Now, you guys aren't going to see me do this. You're just going to have to watch me do it from here. I'm going to go across here and I'm just measuring from the face of the lock to the front of the shoulder, Okay, and I'm going to get that measurement. It's 87. Down 87. I should have prepared this earlier. And now I'm going to go from the face of the lock to the first wafer. I can see just in the front there. First wafer, and it is hitting that ward. That's more like it. You're not going to read that anyway. It's about 200, and I've just moved my finger, but it's about 218. Okay. Now I'm going to subtract 87 from 218, which is going to give me a number of something like 130 something. We should probably figure that out. It's about 130, I think, roughly. It doesn't matter. You're going to see that it doesn't actually matter if we get it exact or not. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, so over here, I'm going to just roughly say it's 130. It'll be 133 or something. I'll put 133, whatever. And then I'm going to allow some tolerance. Now, the more tolerance you allow, the longer the search will take. So I typically like to allow just a short amount of tolerance first and spend a little more time getting my measurement correct. It'll save you time in the long run. So I'm just going to go for the shortest amount of tolerance. And now the last thing is how many cuts in the lock. Now, we can figure that out with a pick. We can put the pick in there, and we can just count how many wafers there are. And in this lock, there are 5, okay? Now, when I hit search, Instacode's going to go through its entire database of space and depth cards, and it's going to return every code series, every space and depth card that meets those criteria, okay? And one of them will hopefully be our lock, but even if it's not, people always think they caught me out if we do this in real life and my card is not there. You didn't catch me out. If the card is not in Instacode, then what it means is that we would have spent that entire time, hang on, the card's hidden behind it. We would have just spent that entire time, let's say half an hour, going through the keyboard, looking for a key blank that just doesn't exist, or searching in Instacode for a code series that doesn't exist. So even if it's not in these results, that's actually a good thing. Right, now it's returned some results. And at this point, what we would do is we would start to take, for example, you could take a measurement to the second cut or the last cut, or you might be able to work out like some of the depths. If you know, like for example, this is a wafer lock, I know that it's not going to be this card. Look how many different depths there are. There's no way that this lock has that many different depths. I'm looking for 3 or 4 depths max, okay? I quite like this first one, 132. All of these are pretty good. I like these 2. I like this one and this one and this one. These are the ones that I like. Now, if this were a real job, what I would do is I would now go back to my lock and I would start measuring the second position, and I would try to narrow this down a little more. But in this case, I'm just going to open up one of these at random and just take a look. And if you look over on the side, you can see the key profile. I'm just going to move you guys so I can see it. You can see the key profile. It looks pretty similar to our one. Okay? Look at that key profile. Doesn't that look very similar to ours? Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have it. Sean, I want to see you doing this. I know you guys are excited. You're excited about this. Okay, if I open
virtual
this
background's hiding the fireworks that are going off behind me.
So if I open it up, that is in fact the correct code series for this lock. Now I'm just going to jump back, stop my sharing, so that you can see this. These are the keys for that lock. Now I want you to see that you can do everything I just did was the hard way. That was when you've got the lock and you've got no access to the keys, okay? If you've got access to the keys, everything becomes a lot easier, because now with my micrometer, I can actually measure all of these depths, okay? So I can very quickly identify which of those results would have been the correct result. So this does not take you very long to do, guys. It's really easy. You don't need a lot of skill to do it. If you can strip the lock down, you can get even more accurate results. Yeah, this is something that everybody should be doing. Don't go on Facebook and ask, does anybody know what key blank this lock is? All right, it's embarrassing. That's kind of the thing I wanted to show you. We call that find card. just to remind you, find card, the feature is found on the main screen right there. Okay, little set square. Very cool feature. You should definitely use that one. Did you know that one, JB? No. Good one, eh? Lots of stuff. Guys, why don't we do some questions? We can do a part 2 of this one day if we want to look at other stuff, but to be honest, we've hit quite a lot of the main points that we wanted to hit. Have you got any questions that have come up?
I have answered some of them, Jeremy. We have one guy asking about, is the snap decoder work on iPhone?
Right, yeah, no, it doesn't. Unfortunately, Apple does not allow us to, Apple doesn't have the feature that we need to utilize. So it does not work on the iPhone. Yeah, I've been instructed to tell you it will never work on the iPhone. So there you go.
All right.
Like honestly, seriously, guys, if I could be serious for a minute, if you are an automotive locksmith, I understand if you're a residential and you don't want to do it. But if you're an automotive locksmith, you need to have an Android device. Honestly, there are so many pin code calculators, so many software scan tools that utilize Android, but you can't get them on Apple. So I don't know, suck it up, get an Android. Yeah, all right. What's the other one here? So the different versions of Instacode that gives you full access, and how do I upgrade? Oh, great question. Clarence, great question there. How do I upgrade from one to a full version? So first of all, when you go to buy it, you can go to the IKS website. They've got all of the menus are broken down there. You can choose how you want to buy it. I would recommend the Works package, which is the total, that just gives you everything. But obviously I would say that. If you've purchased a lower version, just codes only, for example, you can log into the Instacode Live website. And if you go to instacodelive.com, there's a login screen there. You just log in using the details that you were given when you purchased the product. And you will see all of the registrations that you have. And you can change whether you want to pay for it monthly or yearly. You can change what modules you want to, take modules off, put modules on. It's very, very easy. If that bugs you and you really don't want to do that, or you're just desperate to hear our awesome Kiwi accents, you can phone us. There's a free phone number from America that you can ring us, and we'll have a chat to you. Sure, why not? But just remember that we're a day ahead of you, and so it might not be the easiest time to get you. You can call Sean and JB and the guys at IKS as well, though. They are able to do a lot of the stuff that we can do as well. So, and their accents are easy to understand.
So, James, I see you have your hand raised. Did you have a question you wanted to ask Jeremy? James Kennedy?
JK. What's up, JK? You're on the air.
All right. All right. No, James. How about Oscar? Oscar, if you got a question, I see your hand up. Go ahead. I don't think they've been allowed to talk. Try to unmute your mic, Oscar, and see what happens. Well, Oscar, I'm sorry. You have the ability to talk to us, but it looks like your microphone is muted and I don't have any control over that. So if you can get that figured out, let us know. We'd be happy to hear your question and answer it. Anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask Jeremy verbally here? We can definitely take those questions. Okay, Oscar, looks like you got it. Go ahead.
Nope.
No, I see Oscar has his mic unmuted, and his hand up, but no question. Okay.
Come on, Oscar. Come on.
Jay's asking, did he miss the pricing? You know what? We haven't done any specials or any pricing yet, Jay, but you can definitely see the pricing on our website, internationalkeysupply.com. And I know we have some specials here, promo code that we're going to come up with.
Yeah, we have a promo code. It's just IC webinar. So if you go to checkout on the website, internationalkeysupply.com, you'll get 5% off any Instacode Live subscription with the promo code IC webinar, all one word. And I'll put that in the chat here.
Cool.
Very good. Thank you, Sean. Anyone else? Any other questions? Anybody like to do what I call stump the instructor? Throw something at Jeremy that he has no idea about. Okay, Jamie, I see you've got your hand up. Go ahead. You got a question for us?
Seem to be having audio issues here.
Yeah,
Can you
Jamie.
hear me?
Yes.
There we go.
There we go. Jamie's on the air.
Is it unlimited access, or is there a limited access things per month?
Do you mean like how many times you can access the database? Like how many times you could run a code number and things like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, totally unlimited. Yeah. No, if you, I'll answer that question, and I'll also pick up something that I saw asked in the Q&A. So yeah, no, look, if you've got Instacode, we would love it if you used it 24/7. Just run it continually. We don't mind that at all.
Now if
go on.
Say, because another friend of mine, I don't do too much automotive, but another friend of mine, we really started getting into the Lishis. And one thing that we do like about the Instacode is that you can cross-reference which Lishi you need to use on a vehicle.
Right.
I was hearing some rumors that there's only so many lookups that you can do in a month. I just wanted to make sure that it was.
No, definitely not. Where that rumor is coming from, I suspect, is that when you're on the mobile device, we allow you to jump the registration. So to be clear, you're purchasing a registration. It allows you to install or activate Instacode. That's what you're purchasing. Now, we allow you to run that on multiple devices. You can bounce it from one phone to a tablet and from a tablet to a laptop. But we only allow you to do that a very, very limited number of times per month. And I think that's probably where the confusion's coming in. You can definitely look up as many codes as you like, no problem. But if you've got, let's say 5 employees in your business and you're jumping one registration across 5 phones, I'm sorry, you're kind of cheating the system. You ought to buy another registration, okay? We limit you, it's something like 3 times a month. But don't quote me on that. It's a very low number. It's something like 3 times a month that you're allowed to bounce your registration from a device to another device. Okay?
But if you just have it on one device, you're allowed to use it as many times as you want. Though it's
many
not.
Times, yeah, many times as you like. No, nothing up my sleeve. Many times as you like. Yeah.
That's what I need to know.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool.
Hey, JB, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Looks like we got Christopher here. Christopher, you have a question for us?
Yes, I have a HPC Quicksilver machine, and I was just wondering, is using Instacode on that like pretty seamless so far as sending the code from the tablet or the tablet or laptop to the machine pretty seamless, or?
Now look, I don't know the Quicksilver. I'm not familiar with that. I'm just having a quick look through the HPC machines we've got listed. Is that a manual? Is it a manual machine, guys, or is it a? He's talking about sending it, so it must be a computer-operated machine, right?
It's an electronic one, and on the machine there's actually it lists. So far as looking up desk lock codes or automotive codes, it actually lists Instacode, and code source is one of the sources that you can use.
Right. I'm just quickly looking that up. We don't have that listed in our list of key machines specifically, but to be honest with you, that's not unusual with, especially with American machines, because a lot of American machines are the same. Like I'm just looking at a picture of the Quicksilver. Guys, can you chime in here? It looks very much like it's an ITL machine. Would that be fair? Does it look like is it an ITL machine?
No.
It is definitely HPC original, is it? Yeah, so look, if it's HPC original, if Instacode works with it, then we haven't done that. It could be, I don't know how they're operating it. If it's just a tablet or something that they're using, I'm not sure how they're operating that. But we haven't been given that machine to test. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, can't help you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, James, it looks like you have a question for us. Go ahead.
I've been a customer who I've had Instacode for years. I work by myself. Anyways, I've got it on my laptop, and I have the older versions on it. I've got like 15, 16, 17, 18, maybe versions of it. And every year I buy the new one and I install it with the disk and activate it. The thing is this: if I delete the other icons, will it remove any information off the most current version of it?
That is a good question, because normally when you run the installer, it should be checking to see that you've got Instacode installed already. And when it sees that you do, it should just update that version rather than installing well, I mean, technically it is installing a fresh copy, but it should upgrade that previous version. So you shouldn't have extra icons popping up on the screen.
So you think it'd be safe for me to delete the Instacode program?
You could definitely go ahead and delete the icon. That's no problem at all. But I am interested to know why you're getting multiple icons. That shouldn't happen.
Well, it's from the other programs I bought before.
Yeah.
I buy it every year or upgrade it every year.
Yeah, if you're doing it every year, then it should just maintain the one icon, and it should just actually overwrite all of the existing files so that it's not duplicating itself. That may be a computer setting, or it may be something to do with the older versions, how old they were and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely, to answer your question, you can definitely delete the icon. That won't affect anything.
Okay, just not the program. I see. Okay, yeah, I really like your program. I really like.
Correct. I appreciate that. Correct. If your one actually, to be honest, your one actually sounds interesting enough. You may want to reach out to us and have one of our guys team view in. If you're concerned about it, they can team view in and find out what's going on with your. It may be something to do with your computer settings as to why Instacode's running that way. It shouldn't be doing that. But yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. I thought I'd ask you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Jeremy, if you want to catch, there's two there on the Q&A.
Where's my Q&A?
Can you back up your customers' database?
Database, and how do I do it? Instacode will work with the SECI 9. All right, let's cover that one later. I'll jump in. Darren, I got you, Darren. Let me. Oh, we're still sharing. Okay, cool. You can still see my screen, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay. So can you back up the customer database? Great question. What he's referring to as the client database. So when you, that's what I didn't actually show you how to do that when we were doing it before. I'll show you now, actually. There you go. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to search for a code number. There it is there. And I've decided that I want to save this data. So I can just cruise across to the right screen. We can go save client. And here's a screen that I can type some information about that client, and I can type some notes. If it's automotive, if it's an automotive series, it'll give me a lot more information here. But yeah, I can save all of that. Now, Darren, every time you close Instacode, you'll notice that it pops up on a thing and it says, forget what the wording is. It's something like saving client data or something like that. A lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people quickly pull the plug out of the wall because they think that Instacode is sending all of your information to us in New Zealand. We don't do that, guys. We're the country everybody likes. We don't want to steal your information. So Darren, your Instacode, every time you close it, it's automatically backing that data up. If you want to actually save that to reinstall that client data, you can do that. Oh, there it is. Sorry. So this is backing up the client data just as a one-off. Oh, there we go. This is what it says. Yeah, that's right. Because it says exporting user data, and people think that it's exporting it to us in New Zealand. It's not. It's not. It's just backing it up at yourself. So you can do, Darren, you can do a private backup if you want, a manual backup. And then when it comes to installing the backup, geez, testing me. Nobody's asked me this in years. Is it here? There's a way to install the backup as well. Eric's going to be watching this later, and he's going to. There we go. Staring me right in the face. Import clients. So export clients will export all of your client data. Backup user data will back up everything that you've done, all your custom cards, all of your notes that you put against the code series, and all of your client data. Okay. Import clients will bring in all of your client data. We also, at WH Software, we also have some limited opportunities, some limited ability to recover some of that data if you lose it. It's very limited. Don't rely on us. But yeah, does that, I think that probably answers your question, Darren. I see. Will it work with the SECI 9? Okay, the SECI 9, I don't want to break it to you, but the SECI 9 is a knockoff machine. It's a complete carbon copy of the Miracle A9, and we don't support that. So no, we don't. So Instacode, we don't support the SECI 9. You won't be able to, certainly, we will never design our software so that it works with the SECI 9. Whether the, you know, it depends how good of a knockoff the SECI 9 is. If they decide that they you know, that they can somehow make our software talk to it, well, there's nothing we can do about that. But we work very closely with the Miracle manufacturer, and we share card data with them, and they share it with us, and all that sort of stuff. So we definitely don't talk to the SECI 9. There you go. Was that blunt enough? Pretty blunt. Yeah.
I think it might be good. Sorry, I think it might be good if we run through some of the answered questions that were in the Q&A that were answered that maybe not everybody's seeing. So Jeremy, maybe you can scroll through some and find some that you think are worth answering to everybody.
Sure. I want to make this one very clear. There's a lot of confusion about how you can jump across registrations. Probably the best way that I can explain this is if you just put yourselves in our position, okay? The spirit of what we're trying to do is we're trying to sell you one registration to install on one device. We understand that people lose their phones, they drop their phones. We understand all of that. So with Instacode Live, we have made the ability for you to jump that registration across devices. We also live in New Zealand, and where I live, I have great internet coverage right here in my house. But if I drive 5 minutes that way, I'm in the middle of the country and I have no cell coverage. So I have to be able to put it on an offline version, which is what happens when you install it on the laptop. So we do give you the ability to move your registration across a very small number of devices, no, you cannot have two people logging in at the same time. That goes against the spirit of what we're doing. If you have a need for that, buy another registration. Just remember that you can buy it a la carte, okay? So a lot of people use Instacode Live on their phone because it's great for after hours calls. Now, if it's after hours calls, you are probably only using Instacode for automotive. So you could just buy the automotive and save yourself, that's 1/3 of the cost. You know, so be smart about it. You could buy 3 automotive licenses for a similar price to the one license that's fully loaded. So yes, but no, the spirit of it is one person, basically. We don't want to have multiple people. Locksmiths, not locks. Yeah. With your brother. No idea what you're talking about. That's cool. Instacode has nothing to do with interchangeable core. We do support interchangeable core in a big way with ProMaster 8, so you can check that out. That would be great. One day we can do a ProMaster presentation. It'll take a week. You just put the Instacode app on your phone to pre-register. Yeah, okay, we get a lot of requests about this as well. So you can download Instacode for free, and people think that you're getting the free software. You're not. You're just downloading the software. What you then have to do is go to our website or go to the IKS website and purchase a registration code. That will allow you to actually use the software. It's a little marketing trick. We can say that it's free to download, and we get you to download it, and then we hit you with the price. Does Instacode account on a computer? Yeah, I think I've answered that one already. You can run Instacode live on the computer and on the phone. You know, ideally, like not at the same time, but you could bounce it from one to the other. That's totally fine. Are there 2 versions, the Works and just Auto? No, there's 3 versions. There's the Works, Auto, and General. So there are some people that are just commercial locksmiths that only need to do residential keys. So they would be under the General category. PC version, the same price. Yes, that's correct. So if you buy Instacode live, regardless of what you're installing it on, it's the same price. If you're asking, is traditional Instacode, which is only available on a PC, that is not the same price. I don't know the price. I know you're going to ask me this. I believe, I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess. Go to our website and find one of our resellers that sells that product. Sean, do you sell that product? The traditional
I don't think so. I think we just sell live.
Yeah, live is the thing that we're trying to push everybody to at the moment. Traditional is getting harder and harder to support from a programming standpoint. But if you can get a price for traditional, it is priced a little differently, and it's priced differently all over the world. So I have no idea how much that is. Is it being recorded? I think, are we recording this?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. What about a U-Haul storage pad? There's always somebody that comes in here with an actual code number. I appreciate you, Tom Kaysen, trying to get some free information out of me. I don't have to tell you the cuts if I don't want to. Oh, I know one. Let's do it. What is it? 2616BQ. No
well,
idea.
let's see if you find it, Jeremy. I looked. I don't know if you can see, but I've answered all those questions that you're going through right now.
Oh, sure, right.
But maybe you'll search for it a different way. Maybe you'll come up with something I didn't. Let's see.
Yeah, well, this is a cool kind of exercise, and we probably have unless Tom's still on the line, we probably don't have enough information here. Hang on, what are we doing here? Clear that. Go back. There we go. All right, we probably don't have a whole lot of information here because correct me if I'm wrong, but U-Haul is not going to be a manufacturer. So what we have to go on, we need information. So what was that code number again?
Let's see, 2616, B as in boy, Q as in queen.
All right, so this is the information that Tom's given us, which is pretty much the worst information that you can get. And I want to stress that because most people think that this is the best information. As I mentioned, just think about the globe, guys. This is the northern hemisphere. It's basically useless for anything. It's bigger, it's useless. This is really the stuff, Tom, that will help us narrow it down. The reason for that is that your code number is 2616BQ, but the actual code number or the code series might not have the BQ. That might be your code number there, okay? And if I do this search, we're going to get a large list, and sure enough, there are some padlocks, you know, so maybe it's one of those. We're going to get a large list. Now I can narrow that list down by, if you could tell me how many cuts there are. Like I'm betting it's a single-sided key for starters, and I'm also betting that it's going to be either general or padlock. So I'll go with padlock, and then I'm going to say probably, you know, 5 or 6 cuts. Now, Tom, that's something that you probably know, but you haven't told me. You're trying to hamstring me, Tom. I don't appreciate it, making me look bad. So you can see that if I do that, if I play around with that code number and I drop off a BQ, I mean, I do get padlocks, and those padlocks could be used on a U-Haul storage facility. You know, it could be that that's in there, but that's kind of what you need to do. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as locksmiths, we have to change the way that we're searching for stuff. Don't rely on just the code number or the make, model, year. That's the worst information to go for. You need more information. Is that cool? That's cool. I think that's good. I nailed that. Does it work with the HPC Shark Bites? There's some Shark stuff that it works with HPC. HPC and ITL we really struggle with because they bring out lots and lots of different machines, and they're basically the same machine with a different cover on it. So we stopped tracking all of them, I'm afraid. We are in the enviable position where the key machine manufacturers typically contact us to get the software to talk to it. So if you want HPC to have Instacode, tell them to call us and we'll sort it out.
Very good.
Yeah.
Harry, I see you have your hand up. If you'd like to ask Jeremy a question, go ahead, Harry.
Go, Harry. You're on the line.
Okay. Apologize for this. This is a very basic question. But when you were talking about switching from device to device because you went someplace where there wasn't telephone coverage, does this go back to a database someplace, nothing stored on the phone, so you must have Wi-Fi connectivity?
Great answer. Yeah, great answer. Thanks for that. Yes, if you are running on a mobile device, because of the size of our database, and because we don't know how big your phone is or anything like that, when you're running on a mobile device, you are live. So when you access a vehicle, you're accessing our database that we have stored in different spots around the world. A few of them in the States and things like that. You're accessing that live. And by the way, some of you will already be aware of that, because if we're doing an update to our database, when you go to log on, you'll find that you can't log on, and it maybe takes a minute for you to log on. When you're running it offline, if you're running it on your PC, it will automatically download the entire database to your computer. So you'll be running that offline.
Got it. Thank you.
Cool. No worries. And just as a dream configuration, most locksmiths in my part of the world, they'll have it, most automotive guys, they'll have an offline version that stays on their laptop, and then they'll have an online version on their phone. But the one that's on the phone, that'll be a separate registration. That'll be limited. So they won't see, they'll only see automotive codes, and they might not even see any of the information. Maybe it's only the ability to search codes and bittings. It's a nice little combination to have. It'll cost you something like $44 or something like that to do it that way. It's a nice way to do it.
That's exactly how I do it. In my own personal service van, I keep the offline version on a PC, and then I have the mobile version on a phone.
Yeah, just be aware that when you're running the PC version, every now and again we'll prompt you to look for an update, but you won't get the update unless you manually download that update. Okay, it's very easy to download it. You just click on the button, and Instacode will do it all for you. But with the phone, every time you turn the phone on, you're getting the latest information. We just did a build last night, for example. So, you know, if you logged on yesterday morning, you will have new information on your phone if you log on this morning, today, this evening, whatever night. It's nighttime over there, whatever. All right.
All right, James, I see you have a question. Go ahead with your question.
Yes. On your under tools on Instacode, I use the master key program. How many master key programs can it save? And under there, and how many can I make? How many can I produce?
Right. Look, I don't get questions about the master keying software very often, because we kind of actively discourage people from using it.
I like it.
I don't believe it's very limited. And with our ProMaster product, our ProMaster product is full service. You know, with this code master key software, I don't believe that there's a limit for how many systems you can create.
How many
there's a limit to that.
Yeah.
There is a limit to the amount of information you can store against those systems. You know, like client names and things like that. Yeah.
Now I have the other master key program. I also bought that of yours, and I like it a lot. But I can't figure out how to use it.
Oh no, this is not unusual, ladies and gentlemen. Like the software that he's referring to, ProMaster. When I do the class on ProMaster, it's a week. It takes a week to teach people how to use this software. It is comprehensive. I don't know why I opened it just then. I forgot that you guys can see the screen.
Do you have a YouTube presentation for using it?
That's an excellent question. So we have a YouTube channel. I know most of you are subscribed already, but for those of you who aren't, that's a joke. Nobody's subscribed. I think there's like 12 people subscribed. We are putting tutorials up there for ProMaster 8. So you'll see tutorials for ProMaster 8. I think there's about 20 or so of them on there at the moment. Yeah, I will say this about ProMaster: it's a difficult software to use if you're not very good at master keying on paper. If you're good at master keying on paper, which to be fair, most Americans are. You guys are internationally, you guys are pretty good at doing it on paper. Then it's just a case of like us showing you where the button is to do what you're wanting to do. But,
it is, yeah, because you sort of when you make a masking program, it's like a grid, and you have
correct.
to cross. And I don't understand how to cross the from one number on the grid to the other number.
Yeah.
Is that the master key? Is that the code?
It's way too complicated to go in this presentation. But
Okay.
look, whereabouts are you in the States? What region?
Illinois.
Illinois.
Chicago,
Okay, cool. We have talked about ProMaster 8 has just come out, and it's got a new stripped down version of it, which is a lot, makes it a lot more accessible. Sean and I have talked about, we actually attempted, I think, to do a bit of a master keying presentation in New York at some stage. I'd be keen to get up to the northeast and possibly the northwest of your fine country to do some ProMaster stuff. So listen, if you guys are watching and that interests you, contact Sean. If we do it, we'll definitely be doing it through IKS. I haven't even told Sean this. Hope that's okay. Yeah. But we'll definitely be doing it through IKS because they're our reseller that's located up in those areas. And so yeah, contact them and they'll flow it on to us, and then we can make that happen. We can do some proper classes up there. Okay.
And guys, we got probably just have like 5 minutes left. It's we're running pretty late here, so just letting you know.
Yeah, that's good. I'm surprised you guys have gone this long. Any other?
There's one question, I guess this would clear this up, from Becca Chaffee. She's saying, in your previous response, you said WH's master keying handles the IC core. I think the confusion there is ProMaster versus
correct.
Instacode.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah, ProMaster covers everything. ProMaster is the most comprehensive master keying software on the planet. There's like 36 different products, I think. Not just manufacturers, I mean different products. Yeah, ProMaster and the master keying and Instacode, very limited. It's just simple inline. There's probably some weird workaround that somebody's done to make it handle IC cores, but it's not what it's designed for. It's just a very, very basic bare bones system.
Yeah. So Becca, bottom line is, if you're looking to do IC cores, Instacode Live is not what you're
correct. Do not use Instacode Live. Yeah.
But do buy ProMaster.
Do buy ProMaster. It's good. Take a look at it. ProMaster 8. It's great. It rhymes. Cool. All right.
Maybe one more, Jeremy. We've got a guy asking about if there's any content in Instacode for a Polish lock manufacturer, LOB. Do you have any idea about that?
We love Poland. All right. We actually have some, we get a lot of information out of that region of the world. We have some very good sources in Hungary and Croatia. Let me have a look here. So we've got LOB as a key blank manufacturer. Whoops, daisy. Oh yeah, so we have to look for a key blank. So we've got LOB as a key blank manufacturer. If LOB makes locks, it looks like they are in there. Who are we talking to? I was just going to call you Poland. Andres, I apologize. Andres, we do have LOB, it looks like. We've got LOB Comfort. Now, listen, in Eastern Europe, you guys have a whole bunch of really weird and wonderful lock systems. We have no problem putting those in. If you've found a system that it's not in there and you want it in there, I can show you how to do it yourself, or you can email us the contents and we'll put it in for you. But yeah, it's no problem. All good?
All right, very good.
Yeah, and Gerda, I'm pretty sure, I won't look at it now, but I'm pretty sure Gerda's in there. We even get that one down here, I think.
All right.
Hey, thanks. If we're wrapping this thing up, can I just take the time to say thanks, everybody. Thanks, IKS, for putting this on and inviting us to do this. There is still a little bit more about Instacode. There's a lot more in Instacode if you care to take the time to get into it. Yeah, I encourage you guys to get a hold of it and have a look at it. And then make some noise to Sean, pointing to him. Make some noise to Sean or Tim at Flake or any of those guys. If there's a particular class that you guys want more of, you let me know, man. I come to Just Cars just about every year. We often do something Instacode related. I was very disappointed that we couldn't do our decoding a worn key class. But yeah, we can definitely do something a bit more hands-on, a bit more focused. If you want it, you just make noise to these guys and we'll make it happen. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you.
All right. So we out?
We're out.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers, man.